Hi parents, welcome to Mission Montessori. This is an orientation video and we're glad to have you. I just want to go over a few things to review before your child starts, or maybe your child has already started, but we are really excited to have you. I've sent home a paper outlining the orientation notes so you can kind of look at that while we go along. Communication is key with your child's attendance here. If you have anything that's time sensitive and maybe a change of schedule or earlier pickup or the child will be absent, you can check, just text the main phone. That's the 423-645-4389 number. Otherwise, if it's a planned absence or a planned event, you can email us. If it's over the weekend or after office hours, the main phone is not monitored. So please go ahead and email us, especially if it's something that we need to get out to the greater community, like a communicable illness or anything like that. We will reach out via text sometimes, especially if your child's not feeling well, or if there's a change in schedule, like an in-service day, we might send you a reminder. So we'll normally message both parents at that time. Transparent classroom, you should have already received an invitation for that. And that's where you will sign in your child each day and you can leave notes there. You have to activate and agree to the terms before you're able to sign in your child daily for that. You'll also see on Transparent Classroom photos, and you'll receive messages when your child has mastered something or if there's a photo that was shared of them doing a specific lesson, so you can join that conversation with your child at home about the lesson. You can set your preferences to receive those notifications immediately, or if you want them just to come in once a week. You can also share your information for the directory. So if a parent wants to do child play date with your child and offer to a gathering, then they can have access to your information in the parent directory as you authorize. For financial information, feel free to email. If there's a change in your schedule or you want to do a drop-in, go ahead and email us about that so that we can have that forwarded onto our finance team. If there's a late pickup fee or any other change of schedule, it's best to email anything financially related. You can certainly text to see if we have any drop-in availability, but ultimately emailing is best for financial communication. We do appreciate the 4 hours of volunteer work that you've committed to through the enrollment agreement. The events will be offered, such as projects that we will send out in the weekly update. There are a couple of work days that come up in the spring and the fall. Well, the fall, then the spring, and those you can sign up for if you're available on those dates. Or we have parents that come by and cut the grass, or you could do lots of other things that aren't required during those specific work hours. If you'd rather buy out your time, we have wish lists, and you can spend about $50 for one half hour, and it's about $200 altogether. And you can always just go on there anytime if you care to donate anything to the school. But that's where our teachers share items that they would love to have for their class. We encourage you to do 2 of those hours before January 1st. And of course, we'll start reminding you in the early spring or late winter to let you know how many hours you have left. If you're not sure how many hours you have due, then just reach out to the office and we'll get that total for you. If your child is absent with a fever, be sure that the child is fever-free without fever-reducing medication for at least 24 hours. If you're not sure, it's always best to keep them home. We do have staff that have compromised immune systems, or they might be expecting a baby, and it's best just to keep everyone healthy by just playing it cautious. But certainly let us know if they've had a rough night or if they've just not been feeling themselves. We don't expect you to keep the child home if they have a little sniffle or a small cough. So we have realistic expectations, but if you can keep them home, that's best. If we do have a closure, We will let you know ahead of time. No news is good news. So if you don't hear anything from us, then we are open. We will use Transparent Classroom to send out those alerts. If we consider that we might have a closure, we'll give you a heads up, and then we will tell you what time we'll call it. So if we're not sure if we're going to close or not, we try to stay open as long as everyone can safely make it to school and the staff and students are comfortable traveling in the weather. So, but we rarely close. We do not close every time Hamilton County closes. So know that we aren't always closing, but we will let you know if there is a chance that we will close. We'll give you a heads up. Again, you can always email after hours to find out that information if you're not sure. Arrival before care begins at 7:55, and that's at the back entrance closest to the parking lot. It's the door that's to the right if you're facing the playground on your left, and it's on the right. That's the door, and there's a ring doorbell there. Feel free to ring that doorbell if someone doesn't see you at the door, and just patiently wait while the staff comes to greet you. We will say goodbyes at the door, so we ask you not to enter the classroom during that time. And then 8:25 is when the car line starts, and you can enter that through the alley that you turn down Sequoia off of Brainerd Road, turn down Sequoia and go to the back alley, and that's where the cars will be lined up. Just wait for a person to come to your car. We can unbuckle them. We can't buckle them at the end of the day, but we can unbuckle them in the morning. So we'll say our goodbyes there. You can stay in the car and we'll have the child to get out of the car. If your child's hesitant, we will give them two choices. Would you like to walk or would you like me to carry you? And we'll grab the things and help them to kind of move along so we can keep the car line moving. We will let you know if your child's upset, or you can always text back and see how they're doing. But normally they settle within the first few minutes, or we'll let you know if they're having a rough time. The after 8:45, if you don't see greeters outside at that time, go ahead and park and walk into the front office to check in your child, and we can meet you at the door and say goodbyes at the door again there. Departure for the regular day starts at 12:50. 12:45, sorry, we'll start the car line and loading up cars at that time. Again, just get in the car line, wait for an adult to bring the child to your car, and then you can either buckle from inside the car or get out and help buckle if you'd like. But doing that quickly helps to keep the car line moving, but we understand those buckles are a little tricky sometimes. At 2:50, between 2:30 and 3, the children will be on the playground unless it's raining or inclement weather is happening. So if you see the children outside after 2:30, you can go ahead and check them out from the playground, and the staff has the iPad to go ahead and check them out, but you can check them out on the website for Transparent Classroom for that. If you drop off your child tardy, they tend to hesitate because they're not in the routine of the other children who come in and kind of start to work and kind of wake up. So it's important to try to get them here on time. Unless you're in kindergarten, those aren't going to go on the permanent record, but it is good to try to get here by 8:45, 9 o'clock at the latest, so the child feels like they're part of that morning routine. Immunization records, we will need immunization records or a religious exemption form before your child's first day. If that is updated, please send us a new copy if the child gets additional shots. And if it's expired, go ahead and replace that. And we will reach out if we find that that's expired, if the one is expired that we have on file. If your child has medication that needs to be administered while they're at school, please remember to download the medical authorization form that allows us to administer medication. We'll need the dosage, the time, and if it's a prescribed medication, not over the counter, we'll need the information from the doctor and the prescription label on the medication. That should be brought in a bag with the child's name on it and handed to an adult, not placed in the backpack. That's very important. If you don't have that form, you can ask us to email it to you, and it'll also be available on the parent portal. As far as safety goes, we keep all the exterior doors locked and we have cameras throughout the exterior of the building to maintain safety. If someone comes to pick up your child and they are not on your emergency contact list or authorized pickup list, then we will reach out to you to get permission. So if Aunt Susie is from out of town and she's just going to be here a week, go ahead and text the school or email us Aunt Susie's first and last name according to her driver's license and have her to bring that driver's license with her. Anyone who's picking up that's not familiar and often picking up should always have their driver's license with them so that we know that this is an authorized person. And if a staff member is filling in for another or maybe a new staff member, they might ask to show your ID just to be safe. Children are encouraged to wear clothing that encourages autonomy. So, pants that they can pull up on their own, shoes that are closed toed and they can climb in and run in because they're all going to have a great time on the playground. So, go ahead and make sure that that clothing, especially if your child is still practicing toileting on their own, that clothing should definitely be user friendly for the one who's using it. So, practice with them pulling their pants up and down and so forth at home also, so they can feel very confident about that and they'll be proud that they did it by themselves. Of course, we will always help, and sending extra clothes is always important as well. If your child has soiled clothing, we will tie that onto the outside of the backpack in a plastic bag with a note that says what items we used so that you'll know to replenish those and send extra ones. If they happen to run out while they're here, we will provide borrowed items, and we just ask that you launder those and send them back so that we can use them for other situations. All right, food and drink. Please remember to send whole foods, natural things, and not processed or a lot of added sugar. The water bottle should contain water, not juice or Gatorade or any other kind of drink. Water is best. We do have a filtered water pitcher here that we can refill that, but we do ask you to send it filled, and we'll encourage your child to drink water throughout the day. Any snack that is not desirable, we're not going to make a big deal out of it. We're going to say, hey, that's great to eat at home. So we're going to have them put that back in the bag. Cookies and cakes aren't ideal for the daily lunch option. If we have a birthday celebration, they will be offered a snack, and they can also keep alternative snacks if they don't, if they have a dietary difference, or if they just don't care for very sweet things, then we can keep something here for them to have as an option as well. And that's provided by the parents. So if your child has an allergy or a dietary specific product, then you can send those extra treats and we'll keep them stored. And if they need to be in the freezer, we can do that. Remember to label everything, back to clothing. Label the shoes, label the lunchbox, the water bottle. As the name gets worn off, go ahead and put that back on there because there will be 3 water bottles that look the same and it's really hard to know what belongs to who. If we have lost and found, we'll send a picture of that in the weekly update on occasion. Let's see, the snack goes in a separate container in the front of the backpack. So normally backpacks have that front pocket. Go ahead and put it in a bag. You can even just have a reusable bag that you use every time and put the snack in there with the child's name on it. Otherwise, you can write the name on the banana peel or the orange peel, and then we can know whose snack belongs to who. If the child stays past 1 o'clock, go ahead and send an afternoon snack so that we can have that available for them. If your child forgets snack or lunch and you're not able to drop that by, then just let us know and we can provide. We usually keep a backup of cheese sticks and raisins in that case. And then if your child forgets it very often, we'll let you know, hey, just bring in a bag of cheese sticks so we can have that available for them. You will get a notice when your child's birthday is approaching, or if your child's birthday is in the summer or over a break, you'll get a notice, and that will be on the parent calendar so that you can come in and enjoy that celebration with us. It's really fun. We do have a few in-service days throughout the year. They're on the calendar, and on those days, everyone gets picked up at 12 o'clock. So that allows the teacher to prepare lessons for the next term. to do some training and just get everything ready for the next session of the 6 weeks. So it's done about every 6 weeks. We try to loop it into the weekend or toward the weekend if possible, or after a party so that they can go home and we can do some work. But there's only a few times where that lands on a day that they're in school. So those days, the toddlers and tweeners will eat lunch that day because they eat at 11, but all the other students will not eat that day. So don't send a lunch on those days. All right. And then let's see. Um, Aftercare is offered until 5 o'clock, and the aftercare staff is doing activities, games, and things with the children. So we appreciate those after school staff that are available to help out with that. But we're available if you have any questions, let us know. You can email or text the number to get any answers to any questions. Reach out if your child says, hey, I had a rough day with my friend was being mean to me. Go ahead and reach out and let us know because we want to do a group lesson on how to be kind to one another. So it's important to go ahead and get in front of things like that, and we want to know so that we can work on that as a community together.